Hello and welcome to today's webinar. What I want to tell is if you face any glitch in the middle of the session or if you have any questions and queries, you can let us know. You can write it down in the comment section and we will get back to you as soon as possible and try to solve the problem. So, what are we talking about today? We are going to talk about strategies, things that make an email campaign successful, methods that tailor an email campaign from the beginning to the end, ensuring that there is greater returns. Today, we'll talk about the essential email marketing manual for better ROI. Like everything, email marketing also definitely follows a pattern, as you all know. It's a process before sending out the email campaign, during the email campaign is being sent, and after the email campaign has been sent out. But before starting the session, I want to remind all of you that there is a process that we follow here. It's called the onboarding process, the onboarding procedure. It is if you are new to Zoho Campaigns, as a Zoho Campaigns user, you should be ensured a smooth functioning of the application and ensuring that if you have any trouble, it will be resolved easily so that you can have a better experience of Zoho Campaigns. For this, we have the onboarding procedure where you will be helped by your onboarding manager who will help you for 60 days to ensure that you are well acquainted with all the aspects of Zoho campaigns so that your email marketing is fruitful. Today, I'm joined by our support team member, Nagaraj, and he will answer all your questions, all your queries that you put out today in the comment section. So, without further ado, let's take a look at today's webinar. So, today we are going to talk about Zilker Fashion. Zilker Fashion in 2021 thought of going ahead with email campaigns and email marketing. It was a right decision, as you can say. However, the right decision always doesn't lead to the right outcome. There are other aspects that are associated with that. For example, putting everything in place in the right manner. And in email marketing, what's important is you have to send out the right email campaigns to the right people at the right time. Maybe that is what they missed out. Because of that, at the end of previous year's holiday season, as you can see, their returns were not as much as they would have had expected it to be. It was pretty meager. Taking their failure into account, we are going to see to it what we can do better in terms of email marketing while planning it and executing it. As I said, email marketing is divided into three parts. The first part talks about the requisites before beginning the journey. And the very first thing in that aspect that you need to look at is authenticating your domain. Now, when a certain person goes and knocks at the door of the other person, the visitor usually provides an introduction of oneself. And the person on the other side of the door seeks for the familiarity or relevance. Only after that, the door is opened and the communication takes place. The same way, let's say you're sending out an email campaign and you have a sender domain. The recipient ISP or inbox service provider checks your sender domain's authenticity, how credible it is. And only after that, your email is placed in the inbox. These process, they ensure that your system or your sender ID is authentic. In Zoho Campaigns, we have updated our email deliverability aspect. Now, every email that every person sends out might not necessarily reach the inbox. Some might get bounced off. And there are two types of bounces, hard bounces and soft bounces. A return path usually is something that provides you that credible answer as to what might be the reason behind such bounces. We have gone a bit ahead in providing our users with custom return path. Now, what happens is custom return path is another ID that fetches you not only your reasons behind the emails not landing in the inboxes. Custom return path also ensures that the person who is using the custom return path, his or her domain has SPF authentication done. So the moment you go for custom return path, you automatically tick off the SPF authentication box. So after deliverability requisites are done, what we all try to do is we all try to look into the aspect of contact. Now, contacts who come into your business are necessarily of two kinds. One are marketing contacts, one are non-marketing contacts. Now, how do you decide which contact is a marketing contact and which is a non-marketing contact? Simple fact, you ask them, right? So in this case, what you need to do is you ensure that they have opted in to receive emails from you. Let's say in this case, what Zilker Fashions did was they hosted a fashion carnival and there 500 people came for the event, upon which 200 people gave their email IDs and names to Zilker Fashion. Zilker Fashion started sending out emails to all of them. Now, this indiscriminate way of sending out emails without even consulting the people didn't work well because some of those people they unsubscribed from receiving any emails, and some even went to the extent of blacklisting the domain of Zilker Fashion. Those are extreme cases, to be very precise. But what you can do is you can ensure that every contact has opted in to receive your email campaigns. And if you want to be doubly sure, all those contacts who have opted in to receive your email campaigns, you send them a confirmation email. That's called double opt-in. So you become doubly sure. That's up to you which procedure you want to go with, either single opt-in or double opt-in. Either way, you ensure that you send out email campaigns to only those people who had properly agreed upon receiving email campaigns from you. Next, we look at list management. Let's take a look at Zoho Campaign. In the list management section, usually what we do is what we say is that lists should be managed properly, lists should be cleaned on a regular basis. Certain things like typographical errors in writing the email addresses should be taken into account and addressed. All those email IDs which have not been engaged with for quite some period of time shouldn't be engaged with after some period of time because chances are that they might not be active and can act as spam traps. However, today I want to talk about a few of the updates that we have done. What we have done in this case is previously you could create lists, and within those lists you could create segments. What we have done this time is we have made segmentation possible in the org level. That means, let's say your list has a group of names, let's say 50 names, of which 10 of them have similar tastes and preferences. Now there's another list in your org where people have similar tastes and preferences, but you have the similar segment that you have associated in this list. You will have those contacts who have similar set of tastes and preferences in other lists as well. They are different contacts. The only thing is they have similarity in their tastes and preferences. In the org level, when you segment them, you actually segment all the 10 and 10, 20 users in this case who have similar tastes and preferences. How is this helpful? I'll show you. Let's say you're creating an email campaign. What happens is now you have to choose either lists or segments. choose either lists or segments. But I want to show you the lists and segments one so that it gives you a proper idea. Let's take, for instance, Zilker Fashion Inc. has two contacts in this list, John and Jane. However, John and Jane, even though they are in this particular list, they have different tastes and preferences. Let's go to segments. This is the segment called accessories. Under that segment, this is the filter that is formed. First name is John. So from that list, only John is taken into account in this particular segment, not Jane. So now when you go ahead and you create a campaign, you can do one thing. You can either choose that particular list if you want to send out your email campaigns, if you want to send out your email campaigns to that particular list. But if you want to send out an email campaign based on the segment that you have created, then you can choose segment. In that case, you can choose accessories. What happens is not only John in that particular list, but any other person with the first name John has this particular specific taste and preference will be taken into account and will get this email campaign irrespective of they belonging to one particular list or not. What does segmentation looks into? Segmentation looks into targeting the right people at the right time. Or you can say targeting the most effective customer or contact. That's what segmentation looks like. Segmentation not only looks into the customer data or the customer taste and preference. Sometimes the segmentation can be done based on the customer's past behavior or engagement pattern. All these things make every contact very unique or a group of contacts very unique. That's what segmentation looks at. So segmentation helps you achieve that goal where you can properly say that I have a group of contacts who are ready to get my content and read it, or they're interested in what I'm going to send out to them. But this is not the heightened method of targeting. Now we come to another part. Another thing, as you can understand, it's called managed topics. Previously, topics were managed in the system. Now we have made it being manageable in the org level. Let's see how it helps. Just like segments, in the org level, if you put a topic, then what happens is people who have agreed to receive campaigns and emails based on that particular topic will be taken into account. And providing a topic is very important. As you can see, you will have to provide a topic over here. So the entire system, let me explain this to you. This is where Zilker didn't work properly. Zilker didn't effectively approach this aspect in the way that they should have. What happens in this case is, let's say you have 50 contacts in a list. You segment them based on their tastes and preferences. 20 contacts are taken into consideration, of which now you are not sure if those 20 people are interested to receive email campaigns from you or not. So you go and select a particular topic that they have adhered to. And it takes into account finally 7 or 8 contacts. Now you can sit back and think it would have been great if I reached 550 people, of which at least 10 or 12 people would have opened my email campaign and would have read it. But just think this, if you had gone ahead and approached 50 people to read your email, wouldn't you actually kind of disturb some people who wouldn't have wanted to read that email from you? What happens with this kind of filtration is you might send out your email campaigns to only 7 people, but those 7 people are the well segmented people. Those 7 people have adhered to receive email campaigns based on that particular topic. So now you can say My email campaign is going to 7 people, but all these 7 people are interested group of people who want to receive and read my email. That is the magic of targeting the right customers at the right time with the right content. Next, we will look at crafting and mapping the campaigns effectively. Now, how do we do it? Again, we are talking about targeting, right? Since you already know who are the contacts who want to receive email campaigns, what do you do to increase your your relevance or to create a better impression of your email marketing method in front of them? Pretty simple. You create a content that they want to see. Now, how do you do it? Again, there are many ways to do it. If you ask me, I would say two ways. One is using dynamic content, the other is using merge tag. What dynamic content does is it allows you to select this paragraph option or image or text and image or CTA button option, drag it from the left side of the editor to the canvas, that is the email template, and put it on a certain section where you consider it to be fit enough. And there you can go ahead and dynamize your content. What do you do in that case? You might be curious, right? Well, dynamic content helps you create two versions of one particular email campaign. You have one template. Now, let's say you are sending it out to 100 people, but 30 people among them are exclusive customers, old time customers who have been there with your product for a very long time. But you need to make it special for them. And what you need to do is, let's say among in these two lines, you take this particular dynamic content and you put it over here and you select the criteria, the field, who are the privileged set of customers who are going to get that personalized content from you. And to them, you send in a message thanking them for their partnership for so long, and you send it out. Now, what happens is you're sending out one email campaign to 100 people, but your dynamic content helps you send out a second version of that same email campaign to the 30 people, whereas the 70 people receive the usual email campaign that you're sending out. This is one way of personalizing your email content. The other is definitely going for what we call as merge tag. As you can see, contact merge tag over here will help you do your second level of will help you do your second level of personalization. Let's say you want to send out an email campaign but address everyone by their first name. My name is Sushmit. If anyone sends me an email campaign and addresses it as "Hi Sushmit, we are from so and so company. We want to talk about so and so." The first thing that I will look into is this email campaign has come. It addresses me by my first name. I'll be happy. I'll be like, yes, this organization knows me and it values my presence. That human touch, that touch of personalization makes every recipient or every email recipient very important. Making every recipient feel important should be an aspect of email marketing and personalization. Once you do it, you know that now that you have done it, you have attained personalization and you also know who are your contacts. So you have the right content and you have the right contacts. But now you need to know when do you need to send it out to them or what should be the right procedure to sending it out to them, right? That is the efficiency of sending it out at the right time with the right functionalities. And that's when you implement workflows. It is an automation tool that helps you create a funnel for all the contacts in such a way that at the end of the day, you achieve two things. Number one, make sure you ensure that you reach out to all the right customers based on their data and their engagement pattern. And number two, you put in the least effort but get in the maximum gains. There are a few updates that we have done in the workflows this time. I'll show you a few over there in that case. Zilker Fashions didn't take this into account properly. And so Zilker Fashion didn't make the most of this workflow that they have. Let's take into account this workflow. As you can see, this is the trigger option. The trigger option, as the name suggests, is the entry point for your contacts into your work. However, there are many ways to allow a contact to enter the workflow. Previously, we had form submission, list entry. After the segmentation has been made possible in the org level, we have also allowed segmentation to be a criteria. However, there is a catch. In both list and segmentation, what we have done is you can select a segment the same as you can select a list, but you can ensure that only those contacts enter your workflow whom you want them to enter. So it can be either the existing as well as the new customers, or it can be only the new contacts who have just entered your database, or it can be the old and existing contacts who are there. As you can see, targeting is an important aspect, and we ensure that is fulfilled even in workflows as well. Next is the new trigger that I wanted to talk about was the date field. Previously, it was available in the autoresponder section as the date field autoresponder, but now we have the date field workflow as well. Here, you are given the opportunity to choose the date in two different ways. You might ask how. I'll show it to you. You can choose a custom date field. Now, Zilker Fashion was doing their holiday email marketing season, but they didn't know when to send out the emails and how to send out the emails. So they sent out the emails as and when they wanted. As we said, that we have addressed two aspects already, right contacts and right content. But right time is also very important in order to fetch maximum return. Date field trigger helps you know why. You can select a custom date. Now, this custom date field has to adhere to a date field data that has been provided by your contacts. It can be a birth date, it can be anniversary date, it can be renewal date, it can be due date, anything. Any specific date that holds any unique value has to be provided here. Any unique attribution. Or you can select a specific date. This is up to you. Let's say today is September 22nd, and on September 12th, let's say your brand is starting a new sale or a discount or a coupon, um, anything like a coupon carnival or something, and you start the email campaign keeping in mind that particular event. Based on that, you can allow your contacts to enter the workflow today, or you can allow your contacts to enter the workflow during a few days before the actual event, and everything taken into account. Now, you might say, how will you understand who are the contacts who have to enter the workflow? Well, again, you can put the field criteria over here and you can select the number of contacts based on the criteria that you provide. So what happens is you allow your contacts to enter the workflow right when you want them to. You allow only those contacts to enter the workflow whom you want to enter the workflow. The next, after the date field workflow trigger that is done, sending out an email campaign will just work wonders, right? You can send out an email campaign to them, thanking them or telling them about their welcoming message. Should send another email validating the first one. And this can be another email campaign talking about the event. Now, it's natural that most people will either open or will not open, will either click on links or not click, will engage or not engage, in simpler terms. Now, you put a simple condition over here. And what you can do is you can use the SMS campaign. What happens is during the holiday season, what happens, most of the inboxes are cluttered with emails because everyone is sending out emails during this time. So your email just might be lost within that clutter. Mixing up your marketing strategy can work well. if you can just send out an SMS campaign, just reminding them about that email campaign. However, there are a group of people who have already responded to this particular message that you have sent out. So they are the active ones. You can send them a thank you message and eventually push them to CRM because now they can be considered as prospective customers. And the ones who have engaged with the email after seeing the SMS, they can be pushed to CRM, and the ones who haven't can be allowed to exit the workflow. Now you can also do one thing. You can make sure that people who have exited the workflow untimely because of not being aligned to a field or a criteria that you have set can again re-enter the workflow or the existing workflow that you have with with the enable of re-enrollment of contacts into the workflow. This can help you make those people again enter the workflow who might have missed it out midway. Maybe one of the field was their city and they might have traveled outside the city and they settled down for some time. But before the workflow ended, they again returned to their city. So you needn't create another workflow for them. You can help them go through that same workflow by enabling the re-enrollment criteria. So now we know what kind of efficiency that can be achieved with workflows as well, right? So now we know what is the right, what who are the right contacts. We know what is the right content. We know what is the right time and method to send out the email campaigns and engage with them. But that doesn't stop here, right? I said email marketing has three parts. Before you begin the email marketing, during the email marketing, and after the email marketing is over. That is what brings us to reports. Now, in reports, you have campaigns based reports. That's what we are going to talk about. And we are going to talk about advanced analytics. First, we are going to talk about campaigns based reports. Reports are always important. Why? Reports tell you where you went wrong, reports tell you what was right, so that you don't repeat the mistakes. At the same point of time, you can repeat a successful campaign procedure. Let's check some of the campaign based reports. You can see the campaign based reports will tell you based on your date and time or yearly interval. You can also compare between campaigns. You can also see more about their analytics. Reports also, in case of send campaigns, if you check, reports also help you understand the total metrics that you get. Metrics in the sense how many campaigns were delivered, how many campaigns were opened, how many campaigns were unopened. It gives you the graphical representation as well as the geographical representation of it, people from which places. You can look at click activities, social statistics, and everything. So reports give you a proper and a detailed understanding of your engagement pattern and metrics. But we said we'll also talk about advanced analytics, right? So in advanced analytics, you can take a look at Google Analytics and another analytics that I didn't tell you about, but I'll tell you something that makes workflows the game changer. The moment you go to workflows, let's say you have sent out a particular workflow. Say you have sent out a particular workflow. What happens is you can take a look into the contact path and version reports of your email workflow. What is this? I'll tell you. This helps you understand, get a detailed report about your workflows and how many people have entered the workflow, how many people have re-enrolled, you have helped re-enrolled, how many people have exited. You can see it in the form of message based, contact based, and workflow view. As you can see here, 7 entered, 7 exited, 7 entered, 0 active, 7 exited. This helps you understand every juncture, every nook and corner of your workflow, and how engagement has occurred over there. How engaging was your workflow? Not only that, you can put the email address of any specific entrant in this workflow, and you can track that person's path throughout the entire workflow, helping you understand which portion of the workflow was engaging for that person and which portion wasn't. All this is truly fascinating, right? So, what did we learn today? We learned today that every email campaign has three aspects: before sending out the email, during sending out the email, and after sending out the email. And you should send out the email to the right people with the right content at the right time. Now, you might ask, what happened to Zilker Fashion, right? They adhere to all these procedures and see the change that they have seen this year. Their returns have increased, their engagement patterns have changed. People like reading what they're sending out because they're sending out the right content to the right people at the right time. With that, we have come to the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment section and we will get back to you as soon as possible. While you frame the questions and you think of asking something, you can also take a look at our onboarding email ID. You can contact our onboarding team, onboarding@zohocampaigns.com. You can note it down while asking the questions. You can ask if you have any questions. We will answer you as soon as possible. I want to tell you that you all will get a recorded version of this webinar in some time. And I also want to thank you for attending this webinar. You can contact us at support@zohocampaigns.com. You can also see our social media handle details are also provided. In Twitter, we are @Zoho Campaigns. On LinkedIn, you can contact us on Zoho-campaigns. On Instagram, it's @Zoho_campaigns. Or you can write an email to me if you have any queries regarding Zoho Campaigns. My email ID is sushmit.s@zohocorp.com. With that, I want to thank all of you for attending today's webinar. Thank you and happy email marketing. Thank you.